hi.
Everybody, welcome Rori Zura for Foobs and Fitness. I've already been a little tongue-tied this morning and got interrupted by my daughter. So, it's one of those crazy things. So happy October.
Happy October. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, yeah. I was already running around this morning with American Strides making why can't I talk today? This is the day I've had. We're a little crazy today. I apologize.
That's okay.
For making strides against breast cancer. So I was down on Park Slope with them this morning, tying pink ribbons around the trees for breast cancer awareness. Their walk is on the 10th. So anybody who still didn't want to join and wants to come out and walk with me in Coney Island, it's a great day. The sea of pink. But we're going to talk about. So I read your post today, and I didn't think about how people maybe had a problem with all the pink coming in. And and then I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I was that way when my son had open heart surgery, when everything for American Heart Association used to trigger me a little. And sometimes I'm not realizing that. I'm like, no, we should all talk about our story. We should all be like Rory. We all got to help others and uplift each other. And I love what you're doing. It's unfortunate that you have to go through this, that you go through it, but you decided to take lemons and make lemonade, right?
Exactly. Add a little vodka in it, and you're good to go.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's only 2:30. I didn't have a cocktail. Do you want me to go get one?
No, it's okay. It's never too early, but sometimes, especially on a day like today when it can be triggering for some people. Like if a glass of wine's gonna help you, hey, be my guest. I'm still in treatment, so I can't drink, but I would love a glass of wine right now, because it's just as soon as I opened my eyes, it was pink, just all over my Facebook, and I'm just oh my God, I'm gonna get a headache from this.
All right, well, I'm gonna have a cocktail for you.
Yes, have one for you, one for me.
No problem. We have a big weekend here in this household, so I was supposed to be having a big party tonight for my son who graduated the fire department this week, but he was already told that he had to work, so he's already. He started the day after graduation. He's on it.
It's all right, let's go. Come on, let's go.
So we moved the party till tomorrow, which I'm grateful for because I got to go do the ribbon tying, or else I wouldn't have been able to do it. So there's a lot of stress and a lot of drinking that's going to happen in the next 24 hours here. So we have anywhere from 40 to 80 people coming in our yard. So
oh my God,
we'll see what's going to happen. So anyway, listen, I'm rambling. So Rory, tell everybody about you, your journey, wherever you want to start.
So I guess we could probably start from the beginning. So I'm going to take you guys back to 2016. That's when I first found my lump. And in 2016, I was very young. I was in my 20s. And obviously I got scared because you find a lump and you're just oh my God, freak out. And my family is very heavy in breast cancer. Almost all of my aunts have had it. Cousins have had it. My grandmother, we think, may have had ovarian cancer. We just don't have any documentation to prove it. So I went to my doctor and I said, hey, gynecologist, what's going on here? And he's like, you're too young, but with your history, we'll send you for a scan. So I'm like, okay, cool. So luckily, he didn't fight me on it like some women experience. And it turned out back then that it was nothing. It was just benign. It was a cyst. I have dense breasts, yada, yada, yada. So I said, can you just cut them off? I don't want to deal with this, because this was already a scare enough for me. And with my family history, it's only a matter of time I'm going to get it. I don't carry the BRCA gene.
Okay, I was just going to ask you. Okay.
I have no mutations whatsoever. So insurance will not cover a preventative mastectomy because it is not medically deemed necessary. So he's like, we could do it. It would just be considered cosmetic because it's not medically necessary for someone who doesn't carry the genes for it. So unfortunately, I don't roll in money and I am not able to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on it. So I was like, all right, fine. We'll just, I'm healthy. I don't not take care of myself. I'm an athlete. We'll just roll the dice. Fast forward to about the springtime of 2020. I had just gotten my nose fixed. I had a very bad deviated septum where like my nostrils would close, and it was like the last surgery before all the hospitals shut down for COVID. So I'm healing from that, and I go in the shower one day, and I come out, and I'm drying myself, and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm doing my exam and whatever, and I'm like, that doesn't feel normal. So I go to my husband, and I'm like, feel this. So he's like, you're getting your period soon, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. So as much as I advocate for women to know their bodies, if you're with someone, too, it's good for them to know your body, too, because they're an outside person that can kind of calm you down when you find something, if you ever find something. So having him to be able to go to say, feel this, like, am I crazy? And he shut me down, like, you're getting your period, we know, like, your cysts, they grow and they shrink with your cycle. So I said, okay, cool. Waited for my period to come and go. It stays put, did not change, never went away. And I was like, okay, we're going to go to the doctor. So with COVID happening, I was like, I'll probably just get a telehealth appointment. Who knows if I'm going to see my doctor. But I ended up being able to get into them that following week. So he was, so I'm like, this is awesome. So he looked at me and he was like, I don't think it's anything of it. It's probably another cyst. But due to COVID, let's try and get you in for your mammogram. Because usually I go in October. It's usually like when I go for my scans. So he's like, we'll move it up because I don't know what's going to happen with COVID. So I'm like, all right, fine. So we went for the scans. Everything came back suspect. They sent me for my first biopsy. Now I'm freaking out. And on August 17th, 2020 was the day I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. They caught it early. It was stage 1. There was no indication that it spread to my lymph nodes, so that was great. I ended up going into Manhattan to Mount Sinai because my husband is a testicular cancer survivor, and that's where he got treated. So I was like, okay, they did really well with you. You're alive, so let's go there. So I went there, and they told me that I have to come into the city from Long Island for chemo. And during the pandemic, I'm like, that doesn't seem very safe. So I went to Long Island. I went to Memorial Sloan Kettering in Comac, and I interviewed a team there. And I fell in love with them. They're great. My doctor sat there, talked to me, hand and foot, explained everything, and I went with them. So I started chemo the end of September because of my age. They sent me for IVF, or fertility treatment. And since I'm not hormone positive, there wasn't really an issue with me undergoing it. So after we had one embryo that was viable to be frozen, we actually took a week. I was like, everyone needs to calm down. Like, I know we're in a very, rush. It's aggressive, but it's not going to grow in a matter of a week. Like, let my body absorb the hormones that you guys just, piled on me, and I need to go on a vacation and just, get my mind straight before I go for 6 months of chemo. So in that time, I actually my mother-in-law was gracious enough to gift me with microblading. So I had my tattoos done for my face, which was a godsend because I knew that if I woke up the day I lost my hair and seeing no hair whatsoever, it would be an even more impact because then I look sick. And I didn't want to look sick. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to get through this strong, mental, and just be able to just tunnel vision. Like, nothing else matters but getting to that finish line. And my husband used to say to me, cancer is, if not more, of a mental battle than a physical, because your body is amazing. Your body can birth a child. Your body can heal broken bones. Your body can come out of a coma. Your body is so intensely innate to overcome things. Your mind is what needs to be set right for your body to follow suit. You cannot have a healthy body without a healthy mind. So I kept that with me throughout the entire duration. And I had more good days and bad days than I did through treatment. And it's all because I had a great support system around me. And not everybody has that. So I wanted to take my fight and be able to give it to women or even men who are going through breast cancer to know that there's a safe space for you to come to. You don't have to be involved in fitness, although every time that I worked out before I went through treatment, I had very little side effects. I never threw up. Not once did I throw up during treatment, ever. So I want women to know that there are studies that have been done. When you work out through treatment, you're increasing your oxygen levels, which helps rehabilitate and recover your body quicker from an impact, which is chemo, it's poison. So being able to, I may not have been able to run a marathon like I used to, but I was still in the gym. I would walk on my treadmill on days that I couldn't get outside. I would lift weights, maybe not as heavy as I used to, but I would still be in the gym doing something. I learned that yoga was so beneficial for me during treatment. And if it wasn't for fitness, I probably would have a very hard time during treatment. But I actually gained weight during treatment because I was eating, I was doing everything, and it was crazy. And even my doctor looked at me and he was just like, you're doing really well for everything that you're going through. And I want other people to know that there is a silver lining to this. That, yes, this may be the shittiest time of your life, but if you let that take over your treatment, it's going to be even worse. You have to be able to pull in as much positivity as you can to get yourself through. There's days that you're going to be, really crappy. You just want to lay in bed and just binge Netflix all day long, and that's totally fine. You're okay to not be okay, but understand that feel those feelings and then move on. Don't linger in them, because every day that you wake up is a new day for you to start fresh, and that's what you need to keep doing. One foot in front of the other. Every step forward is in the right direction. So I finally...
That goes for anybody, any day, any situation.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And, my first going through treatment during October, I got diagnosed in the summer. So my first Pinktober, I was just so consumed with treatment that it didn't really bother me as much. I was kind of like, oh, everybody is talking about breast cancer. Like, that's a good thing. But now that I've been through it and I'm coming to the tail end of my active treatment, I'm understanding that just because everybody's talking about it doesn't mean that they're making a difference. You have to be able to do what you're saying. Actions speak louder than words. And I'm so sick and tired of seeing all of these companies just pink everything, but then they're not doing anything about it. Like, talking about it is not enough. You have to fund research, get the help that people need. Stage 4 cancer breast cancer is the most underfunded and underutilized studying that's out there. And these women are living with stage 4 cancer, and they're just kind of like, this, like, what are you doing to help me? And even the women like me who are in stage 1, it's like, I begged you almost 5 years ago to get rid of them. But because insurance deemed it not necessary, they took my choice away to be in control of my life. And now here I am. And that's not appropriate. That's not okay. And then you're going to tell me that you're talking about pink and pink everything, but you're not doing anything about it. We're still in that same cycle 10 years ago where it's just nobody is really doing much about it. And I'm excited for some of the companies that are out there that are actually putting their money where their mouth is, like this new vaccine that's supposed to be coming out for the triple negative breast cancer. I'm very excited about that.
I don't know because about that. Where have I been?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it came out in, I think it was Cleveland. There's a hospital that's doing a study. It's kind of mimicking the COVID-19 vaccine with the mRNA style. And they finally got it into human trials now. So I've been closely monitoring this because obviously I have a personal affection with it. I want women who come after me to be able to say, just like with the HPV vaccine, that was just coming out when I was growing up too. But now, teenagers are getting it, and we're coming to this point where we're realizing, we can prevent this. And if there's vaccines that are coming out to help prevent someone to go through what I went through, like, how do I help? Like, how do we get this? How do we get this going? Like, come on, let's go. It's 2021. Like, why are we still stuck back in the heyday?
Right. Yeah. I'm going to take you back to a couple of things because we didn't discuss. So when you were diagnosed, you had to go for a double mastectomy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they wanted me to do a lumpectomy because it was just one tumor in my left breast. But when you do a lumpectomy, you have to do radiation afterwards. And I was very adamant on not doing radiation because I've seen what has happened to women who are left-sided breast affected and they do radiation. But this is women who have gone through breast cancer like years ago. So now, they have heart issues because back then they didn't do the deep breathing. So now when you go for radiation, your left breast affected, 90% of the doctors out there will make you expand your chest, push your heart out of the field of view, run the machine over you, and then you can breathe again. So your heart is not being affected. And that was my major concern because not only is breast cancer very adamant in my family, heart disease is also very adamant. So I'm like, I'm not getting a double whammy here. Like, if there's no lymph node involvement and I wanted to get these cut off, take them. Like, it's going to be so much less stress for me to not have to go through that. So when I went to go for my surgery, this was February 2nd of 2021, I went in for my procedure. I came out. Everyone said the immediate pathological, like the fast one, came back fine. So they sewed me back up and I was sent home the very next day. And I was ecstatic. I was like, yes, this is behind me. I can now begin the process of mentally healing from this traumatic experience that I've just gone through. 1 week after I got home from my surgery, my breast oncology surgeon calls me and she said, we need you to come in a little bit earlier than anticipated. And I was like, that doesn't sound good. Just tell me, like, you already, don't give me that anxiety. Like, I've already gotten past this. Like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to prepare you that the full pathology came back with microscopic traces in one of the lymph nodes that we tested. And my heart sank. And I'm like, I thought nothing showed up on the scans. Why is there lymph nodes in there? And she goes, unfortunately, imaging has a minimum threshold that you have to be able to pick up on. And despite being in 2021, our technology apparently is not that advanced, even though we have self-driving cars, to pick up on things like this. So she's like, you have to be able to look under it under a microscope to be able to tell that these microscopic traces are involved.
Oh, wait. If anybody hears screaming, Kate just made it home. So I don't have to. Wait. Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Wait, Rori, what do you do as a living?
So since I got let go of my job due to COVID, I was in the middle of interviewing for other jobs when I got my diagnosis. So I came to a point in my life where I was like, do I really want to be starting a brand new job while going through chemotherapy right now? I really don't think that that's in my best interest. So I took a step back for the first time in my life and I did not work for a year and a half. And that was very difficult for me because I'm a very go, like I can't sit still type of person. So instead of working, I channeled all of my energy into going back to school. And I promised myself before I went in for my mastectomy that I would go back to school for personal training so I can teach women and be there for women and men who are going through a cancer diagnosis to stay active and stay fit mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is. I want to be there as a coach to get you through point A to point Z. This is a cancer diagnosis will last your whole life. It's never going to go away, but your treatment is just a chapter in your story. So how do I get you through the end and send you on your merry way so it's a less impactful experience for you? So I'm in the process of taking my exam. I'm supposed to take it probably the middle of the month. I have to schedule it. I'm just tying up some last minute studying. But hopefully I will get my certificate to be a personal trainer and be able to offer people going through training free personal training or low cost or whatever. I don't believe that people who are fighting for their lives should have to pay to stay healthy. I don't think that that's right. So that's where I come from. And with this whole social media that I've started, I do have experience as a graphic designer. So I was able to kind of take my love of being creative and creating all these graphics and stuff like that. But I also wanted to do it for good. So being able to tie in fitness, health, sharing people's stories. Every week we have Food Friday that I love doing. So I like being able to highlight everyone's journey because everybody's body is different. Everybody knows someone that's in their same exact position, but they just haven't met them yet. And I want to be able to open up that door for people. There has been a few women that have actually messaged me, and they're like, if it wasn't for your account, I would have never known that this XYZ procedure happened, or I wouldn't have known that this side effect is normal, or I would have never known that I have an infection in my breast because my doctors weren't listening to me. So being able to be that middleman, I guess, to help these people have a less impactful experience is everything to me. I wake up and I can't wait to do something and think about the next thing that I'm doing to help people.
Yeah, I was asking you why, because you seem like you're so knowledgeable that it seems like you have a medical background.
So I like to call myself a Karen when it comes to medical decisions. So when they found out that it spread to my lymph nodes, my doctor had me scheduled for surgery like the week after, and I'm like, whoa. Flag on the play. Like, no. My lymph nodes are my defense system. And if you take my defense system away, how am I going to be able to fight anything? Like, that just doesn't seem right. What other procedures are out there that we could do? It's microscopic. What are the chances that it really spread? Like, how is this? And I ask my doctors the hard questions. I'm annoying as hell. I'm one of those people that will email my doctor every week, hey, I just wrote about this. What about this? And it also helps that I am surrounded by family and friends who are in the medical field. My cousin is a gynecologic oncologist. My best friend is a nurse practitioner. My sister is a microbiologist. My friend is a radiation oncologist. So I have friends that I can kind of bounce ideas off of to be like, is this a far-fetched thought? And they're like, no, ask your oncologist. And that's when I ask them. And then I'll say, is this crazy? And they're like, yeah, no. So I have this thought process in my mind where it's you are the CEO of your body. You are the one that makes the decisions about what you want and what you don't want to do. And I was so adamant on doing radiation that I was not about to just be like, sure, let's go for another surgery and not know anything about it. No, that's not happening. I knew that if I take my lymph nodes out, there's a chance I could get lymphedema. What do I need to do to prevent it? Because in 2016, when I tried to prevent me from getting cancer, y'all didn't do that. So now, how am I going to be able to stay away from lymphedema? What are the studies? Who are the doctors? Who do I need to talk to? Is there a sleeve that I can wear? So on and so forth. And so many people are like, well, we don't normally do this until you show symptoms. Why? Even if there's a 1% chance of me wearing that sleeve that'll help prevent it from happening, give it to me. Because guess what? I have to live with lymphedema. You don't. It's my life. So if my quality of life is going to take a hit, I need to be in control, not you. You are there to help facilitate me staying alive and advise me on the best choices to make. But in the end, it's my decision. And my team was very adamant about, you're right. You are absolutely right. Here are the people that you need to talk to. And they got me into a lymphedema specialist. I got, fitted for my sleeve. They taught me how to do all my exercises, what signs to look out for. And I'm like, it's just so mind-boggling that our healthcare system is so reactive instead of proactive. And I'm trying to drill it into people's heads that you have to ask these questions. If you're going to be a bitch for your own well-being, because you're the only person that has to live with every choice that you make in life, not the doctors, not your nurses, not anyone but you. So you need to be very forceful with the things that you want in life.
And, and you're saying like, like they scheduled it for you. And, there was 3 people that I know in the past year that, stage 0, negative, blah, 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 blah. And they all had me with choices. But sometimes people pressured by parents or siblings or spouses. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, you have an appointment next week. Like, let's get the cancer out. Right? Like,
and I'm like, well, like, can we take 2 seconds? Like,
I understand that people are like pressure, like, my mother and I are like, cut them off. Like, that. But that's, I have to have, I go every 6 months because every booth takes turns misbehaving, but everything's fine. But it's like, oh, Mrs. Candy, I'm like, yeah, I know, I gotta come. Yeah, I know, every time. Because I have, lumpy breasts, so.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's like. So, like, it's great to have the knowledge and to have the family. One person decided to have their breast removed and then have no further treatment. One person decided to have the lumpectomy and then have pills for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
And then the other person, went, okay, let's cut both out, but you're keeping my skin. And she did like a totally like a scoop and, which is
the skin sparring.
Yeah. And I'm like, It's amazing. And then no treatment, but so how did you yourself know it was right for you?
So I delayed my surgery a month. That's how long it took me to become comfortable with the idea, because she gave me the diagnosis. I spoke to everyone, my mom, my dad, my sister, my best friend, my husband, my dog. Like I talked to everyone, and I'm a very logical person where life is all about risk versus reward. So yes, there is a chance that I can get lymphedema. There's also a chance that it could spread and I could die. Which one of the lesser of 2 evils am I more comfortable with living with? And I opted, okay, I'm happy with what we're doing. I made her very, very clear. I said, when you go in there, please don't take all of them. Like, if it doesn't look like it has something in it, can we try and save as much as possible that's in there? If it's microscopic, that means that not a lot has filtered through.
Okay.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. So if there's a chance that we can at least save some of it, then I'm comfortable with doing it. And she promised me. She said, if I go in there and you look fine, I promise I will save as many as I possibly can. And I trusted her. And when I woke up and I was able to talk to her, she only took about, I want to say maybe like a little less than 3/4 of what were there. She didn't even touch level 3. She took mostly all of level 1 and then some of level 2. And when the pathology came back for all of those, they were all negative. So I was relieved. So then I had the chance to talk to her about, well, now that you took your lymph nodes out, standard of care is to go for radiation and then to continue on to oral chemo. I wanted to make sure that radiation was the best choice. I had heard about something called proton therapy, which is way more targeted. So it doesn't, proton therapy is, I guess, it's very advanced and it's not federally approved yet. Like, you have to be in a clinical study to be able to get it for Memorial Sloan Kettering. So I opted to go for the study because I said, if there's a chance that I can make an impact during my treatment for a clinical study, clinical trial, drugs, whatever, like, sign me up. I'm all about that. So I tried to get into the clinical study, but because I had delayed my surgery for 4 weeks, I was getting into the cusp of like being too late to do radiation. And the clinical trial was starting after that cusp. So they were like, sorry, like, you have no choice now. Now you have to do radiation. But that's the risk I took. Risk versus reward. So I took the risk in a month to make sure I was comfortable with the lymphedema. Mm-hmm. Now I got to deal with the consequences of going through radiation. But my radiation oncologist I love him to death. He's, if any of my team from Memorial Sloan Kettering, I'm sorry, but he's probably one of my favorite. He's just so, like, he's one of those doctors that takes his time. He talks to you like a person. He doesn't talk to you like a patient. And there's a very big difference in that. And even when I would like email the portal, most of my other team, it would always be like a nurse that responds back. He responded to me. And that meant the world to me because he was looking after me. So I was like, you know what? I trust you. I did my research. Let's go. So I did 25 rounds of radiation, and he could not believe how well my skin held up by the time I was done. Like, if you look at my chest now, it doesn't even look like I had radiation. Versus if you go on Google, it's like horrible, nightmarish. And
Did you use something special?
No. So my girlfriend is a radiation oncologist at Dana-Farber in Boston. So anytime I had a question, I could ask her about it. But she gave me this like strict regimen, which I posted on my website for other women to be able to use. And I laid out a schedule. And I was just like, I would walk around my house literally naked because I was just lotioning myself like every 5 seconds. We went to the grocery store one time and my chest started to like flare up. And I literally took my shirt off in the middle of the grocery store and like put my chest in like the freezer. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's just like, you have to focus on yourself. So like, you know your body best. If you're tired, drink water. If you are itchy, lotion. So it's like paying attention to the things that your body is telling you and not being like, I'll do it later. Like, no, do it now because you can't play catch up when it comes to radiation. You have to stay ahead of the game. And thanks to her and thanks to my doctor, I'm fine now. And all I'm dealing with is oral chemo until Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Okay. Yeah. One of our friends at Green Spa is a breast cancer survivor, and she came up with a radiation cream. So in our cancer care packages, we sell it, and it's she found it. She created it for herself, and now she sells it. So.
I do have to say, for those who are watching, if you do plan on buying new lotion for radiation, put it on before you go to your first session because you need to make sure that lotion is not going to give you a reaction. Because I mistakenly veered off one day from her lotions and like I put the wrong lotion on my mistake because I was like half asleep. I screamed because I didn't realize there was menthol in it and it hurt.
Oh.
So I was like, oh my God. And then I read it and I'm like, crap. And I like ran in the shower and I'm like, get off. So just make sure you test everything beforehand. That's definitely key.
That sound advice. I mean, all the advice that you're giving is amazing. So we didn't talk about what is a foob.
Foob.
Okay, what's a foob? Tell her. I know what a foob is, but like
a foob is a fake boob. So people, when I first started the account, people were asking me, I'm flat. Does that mean I'm a foob? I said yes, 100%. But I don't have an implant. I don't care. Can you breastfeed a child without having a chest right now? No, that's fake. A foob is losing all functionality of your breast. That is what I define a foob as. Some people define it as the fake boobs with the implants and the deep or whatever, but I consider anybody who had their breast removed is a foob because you no longer can function how you did beforehand. So it's fake, essentially. So to me, flat, deep, tug, implant, whatever. If you had your breast removed, even a lumpectomy, you lost a part of your breast. That's still a foob. You're not whole. What you had beforehand is no longer there. So that is my definition of a foob.
Now, are you fully have implants or you still have spreaders? Or
I still have those wonderful expanders.
Yeah, I know my girlfriend hates, just like they were very uncomfortable.
They're starting to get normal.
One, so it was always like the one was always popping out. So we just like take it and like throw it around, like all right, let's play with it now because like it popped out. So you have to laugh.
Yes, if you can't laugh throughout your diagnosis, there's something wrong. There are bad days, and you're going to have them. But I think laughter is the best medicine. And I think if you can make fun of yourself, like people were questioning me because I got upset that when my hair started growing in that it wasn't gray. And people are like, why on earth would you want gray hair? And I'm like, Because when my hair grows back in, do you know how much easier it is going to be to dye my hair when it's gray versus black? Silver lining. Come on, guys. Like, hello, I want to dye my hair pink. Like, I'm going to have to bleach my hair again and then dye it pink, and I'm going to damage it even more. But if it was gray, I could just sort of take over it.
Did people's hair come in gray? I thought it was like, everybody I knew, their hair came in curly.
So most people will get like salt and pepper. Some people will get like flat out gray. And then there's people who get just curly. There's some people that get straight. My hair is super curly. My husband calls me Brillo pad because it's just coils all over the place. So I just started being able to straighten it now. Thank God.
The hair looks great. And I don't want, listen, I'll talk to you all day. So you have to let me know when you want to go. But there's one question I want to ask because one of our family members, was deciding whether, treatment, no treatment, fertilize an egg, not fertilize an egg, wait or not. So now you've had treatment, you have embryo. Mm-hmm. And so that you're young. So yes. Yeah. So that's what you wanted to do. So then you'll start going for implantation. Like, when will you be able to do that then?
So because triple negative is one of the more aggressive forms, and HER2 is the other one, the rate of reoccurrence for triple negative is like the first 3 to 5 years. So my team really wants me to wait at least 3 years. Okay. But if I'm antsy because I'll be 35 in January, and I kind of I feel my clock ticking or whatever, then I have to wait at least a year just because of chemo to make sure everything's out, monitor me, and then it's okay after the year. But that's when we cross that bridge. I won't be able to even think about that until 2024. And everybody's different. Growing up, I always said to my friends, I never want kids. I'm going to be the cool aunt because I can't see myself in that position, I guess. Mm-hmm. But then all my friends actually started having kids on purpose. And I was like, they're kind of cute. Should I get one? And my husband and I have gone back and forth about it. And I kind of feel like now if it's meant to be, it will be. Because there's so many other things now that I'm focusing on. I have a personal goal that I would like to accomplish by 2023. And that'll kind of put me right at the place where I need to decide if I want to or not. And that's not to say either that adoption is off the table. I think that there's so many children out there that need love. And if I can't have one, then I'd rather do that. So that's a discussion that I feel like we'll talk about in the future. But for now, I have my brother's having his first child in tomorrow. So I'll have him to kind of dote on in the time being. And then my best friend has her son who was born at the cusp of the pandemic. So I have him as well. So for the time being, I'm not focused on it too much. There's a lot of things I want to accomplish before that.
Yeah, I think your path and what you're doing and, your gift right now to all of us is you sharing your story and your knowledge. So obviously everybody needs to reach out to Rori to if you have a question, because I feel like you can have your own 1-800 hotline, 1-800 help me.
Right? 1-800-FOOB.
Yeah, there you go. Rori Food.
Exactly.
Oh no, Roar Food. We need
Roar.
Oh.
There's people that actually will message me, and if I don't know the answer, I tell them, I'm look, I'm not in your position, but if you give me a day or two, I will find someone to put you in contact with so you guys can talk. And that's how I kind of facilitate things, because I don't want to give you the wrong advice. I'll give you my opinion on something, but if you really want sound advice, you need to find someone who's gone through it or is going through it, or if there's a doctor that I know that would talk to you, I'll put you in touch with them as well. So there's plenty of people that I actually referred to my radiation oncologist. I said, if there's people that are on my social media account that want to talk to you, is that okay? And they're like, sure. They're not our patient, but we'll try and help. So it's being able to find the right people it's putting the puzzle together. So being able to help find the answer to someone so they don't have to worry about it. Because if they're in the middle of treatment or they don't feel good or if they have an infection in their chest, the last thing they want to do is be on Google. That's the last place that you should be. So if you can go sleep or take time for yourself and I will help find it for you, then please let me do that because I want to help.
Yeah, so we raise money for Making Strides. I have to give them a shout out though too, that they have a 1-800 number that's open 24 hours a day that, just call if you need somebody to talk to. A question, there's help out there. And I think even there's Share is another network, get involved with other people and know that you're not alone, right?
Exactly.
Right.
There is
8 women diagnosed with breast cancer. So there's somebody out there. There's a lot of women who don't share their story. So you'd be surprised when you share your story that maybe somebody might open up to you and so I think it's really, really important. So what's your website for everybody to go to?
It's foobsandfitness.com. Very simple. There's a blog on there. There's a lot of projects that I'm working on behind the scenes. So I have a little taste of it with a giveaway that I did the other day. I'm actually working on a clothing line for Foobs and Fitness. So my slogan is fake, fit, and fabulous because you're a woman. You are beautiful. You are a man. You are beautiful. You were put on this earth to do something great. And whether that great be celebrity status or just making an impact in someone's circle. You're put on this earth for a reason, and you need to remember that you're fabulous and you're going through a tough time in your life, but you will get through it. And I want people to embrace that. So yes, you may be fake. Maybe you lost your boob, you got your lumpectomy, you have scars all over your chest. You are still beautiful. Every scar tells a story. Embrace them. It doesn't need to be publicly embraced, but look at the mirror and look at what your body has gone through and see that you've progressed through life. And you are now this phoenix that's risen up from the worst time of your life, and embrace it and live your life as the fabulous person that you are.
You're so inspiring. Yeah, so everybody's got to go follow Rori. She wrote a blog for us too. I hope you'll write another one or share one. Or goes to your site too, because you really have so much to share. So it's really great. And what do you think of your bracelet? Have you been using it?
I got it on. I love it. I love being able to sleep with it because I sleep like this. So it's always there for me. So it's soothing. It helps so much. And it's so beautiful. You can't even tell what it's used for. I love it.
Oh, thank you. I have a tan line. That's $5 goes to the charity of choice. Oh, and I have to add somebody this month. So we're adding Grandma's Love. So if anybody wants to sponsor a meal for Grandma's Love,
I love that.
Brooklyn, so that but it's going to be added on. So Making Strides timer. And what's a giveaway you're going to do next? I'll give you a bracelet.
So we can do a bracelet. Let's do it. Yes. I have a ton of samples that were sent to me for the clothing line that I'm doing. So I'm trying to pick which ones I want to do when. So I just did a beanie because now we're getting into fall, and a little tote bag. So I'm thinking about what I want to do next. It might be a sweatshirt, so we could do a sweatshirt and an accessory. I love it.
Just let me know. So anytime anybody ever needs anything for any kind of cancer organization or charity, just reach out to me.
I love it. I love everything that you guys are doing. And then the fact that you're right here in my backyard is just fantastic.
Well, you should come, if you're up to, you should come roller skating on the 20th.
I can't really do it. I know. And that's actually the day of my second vaccine. So I just finally got my COVID vaccine, which I did a post about, and it was a very scary time for me, but I'm fine. So the 20th will be my second one. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I made myself so sick when I got it. My heart's racing. My heart's racing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Family's like, go stop being a Chrissy. Just
Yeah, just breathe. You're fine. Like, you're
That's what
fine.
Even over my bracelet, I'm like,
Yep. It's like, okay, give it.
yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, hit me. All right, let's go. And then I was like, oh, that's it. But I was good. Even the second one, I didn't, my arm, I kept moving my arm. I'm like, all right, let's do that. Those exercises, don't stay still.
Yep. I posted on my thing. I applied the same thought process on the days that I had chemo. I worked out in the morning. So I was like, all right, I'm going for my shot today. I'm going to work out before I go. And I barely had a sore arm. Like, the morning.
Now, if I rode my bike that morning, I might.
It helps. It helps a lot.
So the lesson here is that, we need to move and be healthy. And I love that whole study about, like, you're saying on days that you didn't get sick, the days that you exercise. That's amazing.
Yep. They say there's been studies that show if you get a minimum of 150 minutes per week of moderate intense exercise, so that's like walking, yoga, stretching, light weights, 150 minutes, that's all you really need. If you're going to do like vigorous, they say at least 75 minutes because obviously you're more intense. But when you're going through treatment, 150 minutes is what you should aim for. Just get up, go for a walk. Go for a walk around the block. Get some fresh air. If it's raining out, go sit in your room and do some yoga. You just need 10, 15 minutes. Just move your body.
All right. I think, and that's all of us should be doing that.
Yes.
And then maybe some of us will finally lose that 20 pounds of
that COVID weight.
It's not going away. It just will not go away. Now it's like, oh, Chrissy, you have hot flashes now. So it's like a whole new thing that I'm like, what is this? I didn't sign up for this.
Yep. My hot flashes are killing me right now too.
Oh, because the treatment.
Yep. I'm very, very much welcoming the fall season because it is too hot for me.
I understand. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go hug my baby.
Yes.
Will follow Rori and come and buy tickets, people, to our roller jam on the 20th.
Yes.
It's going to be 50s night, so, everybody saw my little costume. Yes, I don't think I'm wearing that. I think I might go more Grease style the night.
No, I love that. I love that outfit. I think you should wear it. That's just my opinion. I think it's fantastic. But I'm like very obnoxious. I love doing things like that.
Oh, I know. I did it. I dressed up for the one for Alzheimer's too. I don't like attention. Do
it. No, I think the one that you had on before is perfect.
Well,
and maybe if I can't get there on the 20th, maybe I'll go rollerblading around my block.
Oh,
I'll be there in spirit.
I would love that. It was so much fun the last one. Trying to I think people are a little afraid this time. There's a little delay, and people are buying things last minute, so everybody's going to give me a heart attack, so I have to decide, everybody come on, everybody told me they're coming, come. All right,
it'll be fun. Yes.
Talking to you anytime, and please, stay strong, and thank you for being such an inspiration to us all and sharing your journey.
No, thank you for everything that you're doing. It's great that you're giving back in the way that you are, and I love it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, all for my daddy.
Yeah.
Cancer, I hate cancer, so cancer.
All right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
we'll go into it. Tell your son congratulations. I'm very proud.
Yes. Yesterday was his first. Look, I'll still keep talking. Yeah. So yesterday was his first day, and then my brother, is in the government, and he's like, I'm crazy, right? I'm like, what's the matter? He's like, your son's on his first call. I'm like, do I want to know? But he was. It was update me. The truck that flipped over on the Gowanus yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I sweat pits. Disgusting, people. The hot flash.
The hot flash.
Yeah. And but he was down on the bottom, so he got close to the fire, for the first time. It was good.
Be the big hot shot of the FDNY that he is.
Yeah, he's adorable, and he's Irish, and he's in the most Irish engine with the Irish flag across it, and hopefully he's been told that if he does not join the pipes and drums, that he's disowned. He was in the pipes and drums when he was younger in a local thing. So he's like,
so he has to now.
Not in it. So look for him in the St. Patrick's Day parade this year. That's the goal.
Oh my God, yes! I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you, Rori. All right.
Thank you so much.